Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. You know, a lot of people, I don't want to say they have identity crisis that come through the feds. But you know, being out in the streets out here, you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a white dude in a black gang. You can be a Mexican dude in a black gang. You can be a black dude in a Mexican gang, so on and so forth. Now, I respect those that come to the penitentiaries, if they was claiming blood, or if they was claiming Crip, or if they were Sereno or Norteños or whatever, that they stick to it. I'm not with all that switching up because it's convenient, because it's safe. You know, I'm Asian. I'm from an Asian gang. So when I come through, I rep that. I'm from Utah. And everybody that knows me throughout the system, whether it's the county jail, whether it's the feds, and every prison I've been to, I've always been the same. I've had friends. I've made friends with different people from every group. But when they come and try to recruit me or try to get me to affiliate with them beyond our friendship, I let them know straight up, I'm not here to sign up. And I never did. And I've been on yards where I walked by myself, where there's only been 4 or 5 of us, Asians, on a compound. When I was in bloody Beaumont, there was 9 homies. When I went to USP Florence here, there was 9 when I got there, but we all crashed because half of them was foul. And when I came back out of the shoe, there was only 4 of us. You know, like, I was hesitant to share some of the stories that, you know, but I always tell you, like, I'm not ever going to add no extra to it. I don't need to fabricate anything or make anything up for my stories to be entertaining to you. Because some of the shit that I've seen, if I didn't see it for myself, I wouldn't be able to believe that we as human beings are capable of some of these things, or that men really can go hard like that. But I got a dude out here that's from Utah. He's white, but he's from a Mexican gang. He's got the Mexican gang tattooed on his back. But when he hit the compound, he wanted to run white. So he ran white. And, you know, one of the hardest groups to run with in there is whites and natives. The whites and natives, they're always on some bullshit. They're always politicking on each other, and they're always quick to knock each other off. One day you're a soldier, the next day you're a victim. So in this particular incident, they had another white dude from Utah. His name was Loki. At the time of this incident, he wasn't from SAC yet, but later on he became SAC. But at this time, he ran independent white. And he was on my softball team. And the softball team that year we won the championship against the Texas A&B. But you know, Loki likes to smoke. He likes to smoke that K2, that Tucci, whatever you want to call it. So he had a bad episode and he tripped out. He was on the tier in front of the COs, kind of spazzing out, you know, on the rail, locking up. You know, any of the people that's been inside the penitentiaries that smoke this stuff, some of that shit that come through is vicious. And he was on the tier, locking up and kind of making a scene. But nothing happened with that. You know, the CO came and told his people, hey man, get him in the cell or whatever. So they put him in the cell. But again, you know, the whites in the penitentiary, they like to politic on each other. Especially the gang members, the ones that are neo-Nazi, white supremacists and all that stuff. They just got a lot of hate. And some of them just want to be able to always be in a position to dictate how somebody else does their time. So they nominated this other white dude that's from a Mexican gang to hit him. So when I'm walking out to chow, Loki's coming the other direction. I don't know what's going on, because that's white business. I'm not informed. I'm not privy to, their politics and whatever's going on. So when I get halfway up to the steps to the chow hall, I see out of the corner of my eye, two dudes approach Loki and they jump on him. Like, Loki's big. So the two dudes that they got, the two white dudes that are jumping on him, one of them is the white boy that's from Utah, that's from a Mexican gang. And the other dude's just a white dude that I don't know. And, they nominated him because he's from Utah and Loki's from Utah. So he's out there trying to put in the work. But Loki's a big ass dude. So that white dude, he's got Loki wrapped around the waist while the other white guy is trying to hit him. But Loki's big and strong as shit. And he's holding him off like it was really just more of a wrestling match. The deuces go off, the COs come and snatch him up, break it up, secure the situation, cuff them all up, and send them to the shoe. But while they're in the shoe, the white dude that's from the Mexican gang, he sells you up with a native. Now, the whites have rules about selling up with other races, but I guess he didn't know about those rules. So he sells you up with a native. Now, again, that white dude from Utah, there's nothing wrong with him as far as his paperwork. But for some reason, he didn't want to represent his hood. And he grew up with all Mexicans out here. So for whatever reason, he decided to run white when he could hit the compound. But he's not a racist. Most of the white dudes are racist. And the white dudes that are independent, even though they're not racist, they have to toe that racial line. And there's rules in the feds, in the penitentiary, that these white dudes can't sell you up with other races in the shoe or on the compound. So when he comes out of when he comes down the yard, back when he finishes 30 days or whatever for the incident, when he comes back out, well, word is out that he was back there selling up with a native dude. And the native dude that he was selling up with wasn't fucked up in any way, shape, or form. The SIS put him together. And they didn't, from the white perspective, they expect him to smash whoever's not white that gets put in his cell. But he knows the native. They were all in our block. Both of them, the native dude and this white dude from this Mexican gang, they were both in our block. So when they went back to the shoe, they knew each other, and he didn't think there was anything wrong with selling up with each other. So when he comes out, word got that he's selling up with another race in there. And just 30 days prior, he was sent on a mission to hit a homie that was from Utah. And now, he became the victim. When he went out to chow, somebody rode up. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I'm in the block. But the deuces go off. And when the people came back in from the unit, they told him, hey, remember so-and-so? Yeah. Or they just mopped him up out there on the walkway. Couple dudes jumped on him, knocked him out, and smashed him off. There's no convenience in the penitentiary. And people recognize that. Especially if you got a Mexican gang tattooed on your back and you're white, but now you're trying to run white. The white dudes, the one with swastikas and lightning bolts on their faces and their neck, is going to feel some type of way. To them, you're already a race traitor. But you, for whatever reason, don't want the friction or don't want what comes with being associated with that gang, so you flip because you think this is an easier road to do time. Well, at the end of the day, it might be in the beginning, but once people get to know you and understand and see what you've done, they're gonna look at like you faking, and you're not gonna have that respect, because there's white dudes in there that run Crip. There's white dudes that are from the South that run with the black from the South, and they don't have no issues because they're staying true to their roots. They're staying true to the people that they grew up with. It's the dudes that come in that switch up, that used to be a Blood, that used to be a Crip, but now they want to run white boys and hanging out with dudes with swastikas and lightning bolts. Well, them dudes with swastikas and lightning bolts, looking at them like they're lames. They don't respect that shit. Nobody respects that shit. But they don't see that they're being a buster. I don't know how. Like, you a gang member, you a gang banging, but all of a sudden you're in a penitentiary and you're not. You know, like I've shared with you in other videos, you might have moved on with your life. You might not be with the bullshit no more, but everybody around you still is. And for us living that life, there's a strict line. There's a strict code. Like, there's no room for you to deviate. Once they consider you're a mark, you're a buster, you're a lame, your whole career is over with. So for those of you that are going to the penitentiary, if you're asking me for my advice, man, stay true to what you are. For me, the penitentiary is where you're supposed to go hard. If you want to change your life, you should have done that shit when you was out here in the street, because there ain't no room in there to do that. Not in the USP. The environment is too hectic. It's treacherous. So if you're always putting your hand up, you don't want no problems, this and that, homie, you're going to be a victim. You know, if you're scared to go to the shoe because you don't want to get in a confrontation or whatever, hey, I got news for you. You're going to the shoe anyway, whether you go there as a victim or the aggressor. So, again, if you're asking my advice, I advise you to stay true to what you are, homie. Welcome to the USP.